Welcome to Your Farm, a podcast from the Hoosier Ag Today presents your Purdue Extension Podcast Network. It's brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau, the united voice for agriculture. I'm your host, Greg Allen, and today we're taking a closer look at an important partnership that often works behind the scenes to keep Indiana agriculture productive, safe, and trusted by the public. So stay with us.
At Indiana Farm Bureau, we serve tree farmers, goat farmers, and in fact, all farmers. With over 250,000 members, Indiana Farm Bureau represents a broad range of farmers and puts power in your collective voice. You also get advice from our subject matter experts, more affordable health plan options, and support for youth programs statewide. So whether you grow soybeans or strawberries, membership means you'll be heard. Become a member today at infb.org.
Purdue Extension, Purdue Pesticide Programs, and the Office of the Indiana State Chemist all work together to provide pesticide applicators with the education, training, and guidance they need to use crop protection products safely and responsibly. Today, we're going to discuss how this partnership supports Indiana farmers, explore a new technology system designed to improve service for applicators, learn about opportunities for safe pesticide disposal through the Clean Sweep program, and hear how Indiana is helping shape agricultural policy and regulatory discussions on the national stage. Joining us today is Nathan Davis, Manager of Certification and Licensing from the Office of the Indiana State Chemist. And Nathan, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So, for listeners who may not be familiar with the Office of the Indiana State Chemist, because full disclosure, I had no idea what that office was. Can you tell us about your role and what does the OISC do for Indiana agriculture?
Yeah, so not a chemist, but we do have chemists on our staff. So we act as basically the Department of Ag. We're kind of unique. We are at the land-grant university here at Purdue. There's 5 other agencies like us throughout the U.S. that are at the land-grant universities. So here at Purdue, State Chemist Office, what we are charged with is we regulate feed, seed, fertilizer, pesticides, hemp, and anhydrous. So we regulate all of those. Those are all broken into different sections, and then those are all regulated separately. I am the Certification Licensing Manager for the pesticide section specifically. We regulate about 25,000 credential holders.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah,
so then how does the partnership between OISC, Purdue Extension, and Purdue Pesticide Programs benefit Indiana farmers and pesticide applicators?
Yeah, so we have it very well in Indiana, the way we are set up as far as education and the help we have. So if you think of the State Chemist Office, the Office of the Indiana State Chemist, we're the regulatory arm. Now we do also do some training, but Purdue Pesticide Programs is going to do all of our training. That's our mandatory trainings. They're going to help extension. And then we use those extension agents. They put on what are called PARP programs. That's private applicator recertification programs. That's specifically for farmers here in Indiana. We have about 10,000 farmers. Last year alone, those extension agents put on over 250 PARP programs. So we have roughly 90 counties. So that's more than double in each county. So that allows those applicators to get that education they need. And in that program, we also include what's called a mandatory topic. And that's something that's a pressing issue for pesticides. So for right now, it's the Endangered Species Act. And that's a huge thing. We're working with the educators to help us on that. So they greatly help us. We couldn't do it without them. They are our training wing. So we are very much education before regulation. So,
Nathan, in your opinion, why is ongoing pesticide education so important for both not only agricultural producers, but also the public?
Yeah, so we have towards pesticides, especially it's in the news now. You see it, all these things. So our thing is we need to educate the public just as much as we need to educate our applicators. So we and move forward and assist that public. Though that education standpoint, it just it prepares those applicators for situations that they're going to come in. Maybe there's a product or something that we're seeing some issues with. We will approach that and let those applicators know, here's some of the things we're seeing. Here's the way we think you should probably go with this.
Let's switch gears a little bit here. The OISC recently launched the ORS system. Explain the ORS, what it stands for, and why was this new platform even developed in the first place?
Yes, super excited about this. This technology is probably the one thing we're lacking on to make us just a great agency. This is something that we've been working on for almost 5 years now, trying to get this process through, get this database. And so what ORS stands for is OISC Agricultural Regulatory System. And so what that is that's going to be a office-wide system. So it's not just pesticides, it's everybody. So for fertilizer, they'll be able to do tonnage, for seed, all that. So the biggest thing for us is as far as education. So we do in the state, we are a 2-option state. So you can either take an exam to recertify for your pesticide license, or you can take continuing credit hours. Those continuing credit hours, we have to keep attendance for that. And with over 25,000 credential holders, that's a big ask, right? And so we want that to be more instant. That was a very long data entry process. That's now going to be much more instant in the fact that once they have the program on site, that attendance is going to populate, and those applicators are going to see exactly where they're at instead of having to wait that 30 days or so before that gets in there. And then another big thing for us is going to be online payment, right? So right now we are all paper-based. You have to send in a check or money order. We realize that's kind of back in the 1990s. So we're trying to move forward. And so now we'll allow you'll be able to apply online. So if you want a pesticide business license and an applicator license, you'll be able to apply online. Any kind of fertilizer, the seed, all that's all going to be online now. So it'll be much more beneficial to both our applicators and the public, because we'll have a public search site where they can go on and confirm, is this applicator licensed? Is this business licensed? So it's going to benefit everyone. We look to go live with that in October before our renewal season. So big thing about that is we have to get out and do some training for our extension educators, because those are the ones that are going to be using a lot of that program to do those education aspects and things like that. So we have to work with them first before we can get to our applicators, but we're pushing forward. So we're looking forward to it. It's really going to take a lot of pressure off the office and the fact of just paperwork, right? So we're working for that, and it's gonna. The industry wants it, right? They've been asking for it, so we're excited to get it to them finally.
Yeah, and I like that you put finally in there, because from what I understand, it's taken about a year to develop.
Yes.
worth
Meetings
the wait,
every
huh?
week. It is worth the wait. It's one of those where it's, but it's going to be, it's really going to change how we operate. So it's good.
So, not trying to dog on Purdue Extension, but everybody that I talk to says, well, our website's really hard to find and navigate through. It's easier just to search for blah, blah, blah. Will this have an easy to access website, or is it?
So that's another advancement we are making. So our website right now, old, hard to navigate. If you don't work here, you probably can't navigate it very well. So for us, this all kind of come together at the same time. We wanted that system and a new website. So the website's almost complete also. We're just finishing up on some final touches. It's much more user-friendly. The fact that it's not just the old type of PDFs and things like that. It's much more click and go to what you actually need. So that is another issue we had, technology, right? So, but we're fixing it. So we're moving forward with that. Look forward to getting that live also.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we can't wait for that, and maybe we'll have a reconnect to find out how that's going, and maybe you can walk us through the different aspects of the website and that sort of thing. So, But moving on, one of OISC's most popular outreach efforts is called the Clean Sweep Pesticide Disposal Program. Let's talk about that for a second. Can you explain the program and how it works?
Yeah, so it's actually a great program. I was the program coordinator for the Clean Sweep program for about 5 years. It's one of the main outreach programs for the state chemist office. It's also one of the only free disposal programs for pesticides in Indiana, for bulk and just regular disposal. Over the past, and excuse me, the Clean Sweep program is for all pesticide disposal for Indiana residents, businesses, farmers. Anyone can bring in pesticide disposal or pesticides for disposal. Just has to have something in it. We don't take in empty containers just because those can be disposed of in the regular waste. The waste does have to be incinerated, but it is free up to 300 pounds. Everything over 300 pounds is $2.50 a pound. And that's just because this is grant based. We do get funds from the EPA, OISC, Purdue Pesticide Programs. So we only have a certain amount of money, but we do take everything and we will cover the overage at the end. So we get, it's one of my favorite programs because we get a lot of old stuff in. So you think, if you're familiar with like chloridane, 2,4,5-T, which is Agent Orange, DDT, those have all been banned for over 40 or 50 years. We still get those in every year. And that just shows you that those products are still out there, whether it's under a farmer's bench or homeowners. We're running into a lot of homeowners now who buy property out in the country, and they're able to call us and dispose of that. We are over, I believe, 400,000 pounds since 2019 of pesticide waste disposed of. So we had we've really been pushing the program, especially for companies and things like that, to get rid of that extra. They don't need it. We have a habit, specifically in ag, of hanging on to things. And what happens is those products that they hang on to, they'll go out of registration and then they can't use them. They can't own them. So it's a good option for them to bring it to us. So great program. It's free to everybody in the state. All you got to do is sign up. Come see us in August. We're around the state 2 weeks.
I was going to say, are there certain times of the year that you have that offer this, or is it like any time of the year? Or?
Correct. We're only able to offer it 2 weeks in August. We rotate, so we go through 6 locations, 2 weeks in August, second and third week in August. That's kind of the slow down time before harvest. So we do that, and the locations rotate each year. We try to hit areas that don't have disposal ability, right? Some of those counties without HHW, which are household hazardous waste districts, that don't have those options. So then they can come to us. But we do rotate throughout the state.
And did I hear you say that more than 400,000 pounds of pesticide waste has been disposed of?
Yeah. So since 2019, and the program's been going on, I believe, over 20 years now. So that just shows you the amount of waste that we've been able to take out of the environment and out of the market and stuff. So
yeah, I was just going to ask you, what does that number tell you about the program and the need?
Exactly. It's much needed. We know it's needed. Unfortunately, it's expensive. So the cost has just continued to rise for us. And it has to be incinerated because it can't be used again. That's another thing. But we'll continue to do the program as long as we can. And I don't see any issues with that. It's just, we just have to maintain the program and what we're doing. So,
and I'm certain people can search for how to find.
Yeah, if you just Google Clean Sweep, State Chemist Clean Sweep, it'll come up, or it's should be in some newspapers throughout the state. We send it out to local media and things like that to try to get the word out to that local public, because we're not just looking for applicators and businesses and things like that. We also want your grandma and things like that to know, hey, if she wants to bring it here, she can bring it. So we'll take it all.
Let's talk about involvement with the OISC. You have representatives that serve on national boards, work groups, task forces. Why is that involvement so important?
Yeah, so it's super important, particularly in pesticides, but across the board, feed, seed, fertilizer, laws are changing, directions are changing. For us to be on for feed, fertilizer, seed, or pesticides. And that allows us to make sure Indiana is on top of what's going on and to lead the charge. And throughout the nation, as far as pesticide regulatory agencies, we are one of those agencies who's leading that charge. Whether it's new and emerging technology, the Endangered Species Act, or things like that, we are moving forward with that. And that just, like I said, that just allows us to stay at a level of head of what's going on. And we can bring that back to Indiana. And we're on Indiana organizations too. So there's the Indiana Drone Association. That's a new one. They just started. We're on that. The Indiana Lawn and Landscape Association, Professional Lawn and Landscape Association, we're on that. The Structural Pest Control, we're on that. Those are all local Indiana, and that allows us to make that connection with those industries. Because we're very big on, if you have questions, reach out, right? Ask us those questions. These laws can be convoluted. We want you to do it the right way because it makes everybody's life easier. So it just allows us to keep those connections and stay ahead of the game.
So obvious benefits for Indiana.
Yeah, yeah. When we go to outside of the state and go to our organizations and things, Indiana's noticed as one of the leaders in what we're doing as far as pesticides. So it's good. It's a good to work for the state chemist office.
Nice. So then what are some of the biggest issues or even opportunities that OISC is watching over the next few years then?
So, like I mentioned, the Endangered Species Act. So that's going to be the biggest change to pesticide applications since the Worker Protection Standards came into effect. And basically, what the Endangered Species Act is it was put into law back in the 70s. The EPA kind of let it go. They got sued again, and now they're required to comply. And what that is just maintaining that endangered species are protected from applications. And the way they're doing that is some computer systems and things like that. But for us, we have to train all our 15,000 applicators to be able to do that, right? Because endangered species is going to go across the board. It's not just going to be ag; it'll be through all industries. So that's one of our biggest challenges. We have already started the endangered species training for that PARP program that I offer or that I mentioned earlier. So last year we did a how-to video on how to comply. Worked out nicely. We did have some nuances in there that we kind of had to figure out. But the good thing is working with the extension educators is you can give them something and they will take it and make it more and make it new and emerging technology. So we're trying to keep ahead of the game as you know, regulate. Is the biggest thing. We've had a huge increase in drones in Indiana. We're over 300 businesses, I believe, drone businesses in Indiana, which is we sit around 20 to 30 conventional aerial application companies. Very much working with them, trying to train them, trying to show them the right ways. Other things besides pesticides, OSHA, NDOT. There's a lot of these things that these applicators, they're not necessarily coming from ag or, these might be technology people, things like that. So it's very getting them up to speed on making actual pesticide applications. So that's another challenge. You got some autonomous robots coming, things like that. So it's all these things we're working together on. And I'm actually the chair for the new and emerging technologies for APCO, which is our American Association of Pest Control officials. So I get to be out there and go to the other states and work with those and kind of train those other investigators and things like that. So doing the best we can, but it's hard.
You cut out a little bit there. I think we got the gist of what you were saying, but just in case you said it and we missed it, how can applicators find these resources? How can they find and be current on their certifications and regulations and best management
Yeah,
practices, all of the resources?
We always recommend, we want you to go to continuing credit hour programs. So we are a 2-option state here in Indiana. You can go your whole certification period and not take a class and just re-examine at the end of that exam or at the end of that period. We would prefer you to go to those continuing education classes because that's where you get that updated information every year, whether it's from industry sponsors or educators or whoever. That's where you're going to get that ESA information. That's where you're going to get updated label information or law changes. Those programs are going to is where you're going to get that. We also, so Purdue Pesticide Programs, Fred Whitford, so he does a lot of publications for pesticide. And it's not just application. He gets down to nuts and bolts, load, how to load, just anything you could think of as far as application. Fred's probably covered it in a publication. So for us, that helps in the fact that, hey, I got questions on mixing and loading. I can send them right there to a publication from PPP. He's also written a spray drone publication that's really helped and has gained national attention, basically, because it's one of those first ones, but it also is very in-depth and is very readable to someone outside of drones. So if you had some questions or anything, you can get in there and look at that. So that helps us dramatically with those publications to be able to point to that, and then combining that with the CCH programs. If they need information, they're going to be able to get it one way or the other. So,
Nathan, as we wrap up our time together, and by the way, thank you for your time. This has been so informative.
Yes.
We've covered a lot of different things that the Office of the Indiana State Chemist covers. Is there one thing or a couple things that maybe we haven't covered that you wanted to get across today to our viewers?
I would just say the uniqueness of the State Chemist Office and how we operate with our regulated community. We are regulators, but we are here to help. And we very much push that point forward. If you have questions, reach out. We'd much rather you call us than do it wrong, right? Because if you do it wrong, there's nothing we can do. But we'll help you. We'll get you through, and we can work through this. And I think that has helped us maintain that relationship and build even more. They come to us a lot. I get calls all times or throughout the day, and you make relationships with people, and they call you and, hey, Nate, and it's a very uniqueness to our office that I don't think you see a lot through other government agencies, honestly, just because we are out there in it all the time. And it is a hard, pesticides are hard to comply and things like that. So I think it's just the uniqueness of our office to be able to relate with industry so well.
Our thanks to Nathan Davis from the Office of the Indiana State Chemist for joining us today and sharing more about the important work being done to support Indiana agriculture through education, innovation, and stewardship. From the new ORS reporting system to the Clean Sweep pesticide disposal program and Indiana's leadership on national agricultural issues, it's clear that strong partnerships between Purdue Extension, Purdue Pesticide Programs, and the OISC help ensure that farmers and applicators have the tools they need to operate safely, efficiently, and responsibly. To learn more about Purdue Extension agriculture and natural resource programs, visit Purdue Extension's website or contact your local Extension office. Thank you for tuning in today to Your Farm, a podcast from the Hoosier Act Today presents your Purdue Extension Podcast Network. It's brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau, the united voice for agriculture. I'm your host, Greg Allen, and we'll see you next time as we bring Purdue research and extension expertise directly to your farm.